Hi everybody, welcome back. This is video 2. I'm going to, first of all, for those of you who are joining me for the first time, this is a Maya to Houdini conversion course, born out of a necessity a lot of artists have of converting from one software to another, in this case from Maya to Houdini. So this set of videos is going to talk to you about how you can do very basic things. So in the last video, I basically introduced a course and what the outline is. So I'm going to be adding to this as we go on. So very simply, in the last video I promised you I will show you, it seems very simple and it is very simple, but if you don't know whether things live in Houdini, it's going to be very frustrating. So I'm going to basically go through how you can create a group of objects and translate them all around within the group and translate the whole group around. Let's jump across to Houdini. Just delete this. So let's start from fresh scene. How you can create objects. You can obviously create them through the shelves. I'm not going to show you the shelves because I think it is much better that you know how to create them through the menus, because this way that I'm going to teach you will show you a lot more of how you can manipulate objects and control them than just hitting buttons up here will do. It might seem a bit more convoluted, but believe me, stick with this. This will help you use Houdini much more powerfully than otherwise. So if I tab anyway, I'll get a pop-up menu which basically has all of my different items in here. You can tab on this menu as well and get the same menu. What I want to do is I want to create something called geometry. So that lives in under geometry. If you don't know where everything lives, which you probably won't the first time you use this, you can just hit tab and write out the word geometry. And you can do that with any letter. So if I hit F, I get all of those. If I hit S, I get lots of things beginning with S, and so on and so forth. So let's type out geometry. I don't need to type out all of geometry. I can just hit tab at this point, hit enter, and I'll get a rectangle, and I can drop that rectangle anywhere I like. So I'm going to drop it here, and I've got something called Geo1. In the last lesson I spoke to you about the ladder. If you want to learn about that, just go back and watch the first video. I'm not going to go into that again. I'm just going to show you that you can create as many pieces of geometry as you want. And there's another piece. You can select one, you can copy and paste and create another one. Just delete that. If I was to change a value in here, just shift it across a bit, and if I was to copy and paste that, then this one has that value copied in. So I can just shift that across a bit more. So now I've got 3 items in Houdini. So that's the equivalent of creating 3 items in the outliner and translating them, rotating them. Let's just rotate this one a little bit just so you can see which is which. So that's the same concept. So it looks like I've got 3 cubes. I don't actually have 3 cubes at all. If I go, so over here you see what it says OBJ. This is where I am. This is essentially object level. If I want to go into this and actually manipulate what's inside of this geo, because obviously here I just got my basic transform controls and material and render things. I can't actually do anything to manipulate the geometry. What I need to do is I need to go inside of this node. So a way I can go inside of it is, there's 3 ways. I can double click on it, I can hit enter, or I can hit I to go in. So any of those 3 ways will do. Or there's actually a 4th way. If I click over here, I can go into it through here, because this will allow me to go into whatever I've got out here. So I'm just going to hit I, and now I'm inside, and there's nothing here. So I'll hit H to home the view, so H to home, and I have this thing called file 1, which is pointed to this piece of geometry. I can hit this button to navigate to any different pieces of geometry that I might have on a hard disk. This will let me navigate to any other geometries within the Houdini scene file. And obviously you can plug whatever you want to in there. I'm going to delete that just by hitting delete. And now I don't have anything. So if I go back up here, my Geo1 has disappeared, but it's still there. It's just an empty container at the moment. So I'm going to show you how you start adding things in, and we'll transform them around. I'm conscious to keep this video below 15 minutes, so I think 15 minutes is where it cuts me off. So I might actually end it sooner because I don't want to lose it. People ask me, how do I create a cube in Houdini? How do I create a plane? How do I create a cone? Well, you can create them, they just got different names. If you want to create a cube and you type out cube, you don't get anything. You certainly don't get a cube. A cube in Houdini is called a box. Okay, so you type out a box, hit enter, there I got a box. If you want to create a what was the next thing I was going to do? A plane. A plane, there's no such thing as a plane. Again, don't get anything that looks like a plane. What you want to type is the word grid. What you might notice, there you are, grid. I have a box and a grid, but I don't see the grid. And again, artists in Maya say, well, why don't I see a grid? And I do that in Maya. I just create a grid, a plane rather, and I get a plane. And it's a cause of angst and frustration that something so simple in Maya doesn't work, seems to be very simple in Houdini. Okay, it is quite simple. The thing is, unless you understand how Houdini works, you're not going to be able to, you're going to get caught up and get frustrated. See this blue box here? That is a display render box. So wherever you put that flag is what will render and display. So you may think if I put it there, I'll have both. You actually won't, because you can only display one thing. Only one node in this network can have that on. So what do I have? Do I have my box or do I have my grid? Okay. Well, I can have one or other. This should show you how you can actually hide things. The way you hide things is just click on something else and you'll hide everything else. If we jump up here, you see I just have my grid. If I put the display flag on my box, I have a box. When I go back to the top level, the way you actually see both is to drop down a node called a merge. And just drop that there. Then wire this in, left click there, left click here. And there you have wired them both in. But the more astute amongst you will notice you don't actually see both items, you still just see the box. Reason for that is you need to then put your display flag down here. And now you have a box and a plane, or grid as they're called in Houdini. Let's quickly go in and create the other things so you know what they're called. So a cylinder, there's no such thing as cylinder, so you don't get anything there. What you have to do is create a tube. Oops. So I hit T. So T actually switches you from this kind of hypergraph view into a more traditional outliner view, and it's kind of got elements of what you would expect Adobe products to have, especially if you use After Effects. You can turn things on and off there. Tab is what I want, and start typing tube. So that's TU, and there I got a tube. If I merge that in, I've got a tube in there. Let's just solo in on the tube just so I can show you how the tube looks. I can control the height through here. I can control the radius through here. If you just hover the mouse over any area, you'll start to get its descriptions. So there you have a tube, and if you want to put caps on it, just hit end caps, and there you have end caps. This is a primitive. I can change that to a polygon, and then I get access to the number of rows and columns. I'm just going to quickly create a cone, and a cone is essentially a tube. So let's just control paste that and add that into the mix. And the difference between this tube and the other tube is if I take the second radius and send that to 0, I get a cone. And obviously I can widen that. I don't have to have it 0 if I don't want to. I can create any kind of cone I want. I can take off the end caps there and merge everything back in. Okay, and there I've created all my things, but they're all on top of each other. Just create a sphere. A sphere is actually called a sphere, so you don't need to worry too much about that. And I'll merge that back in. And there you have all the items together. I'm running out of time now, and my Cam Studio will not record if I don't pause the video now. So I'll pause the video now, and in the next video I'm going to show you how you translate all of these things. Again, it seems very simple, but if you don't know how to do it, you're going to get stuck. So I'll pause the video now, and I'll be back in the next one. Thanks so much. Please share the video. Please tell everyone about the course. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.